Hello and welcome to InvestorToday.ca. I'm your host, Dave Glover. InvestorToday.ca is brought to you in conjunction with RBL Communications, your online IR professionals. We're coming to you live from the World Resource Investment Conference here in beautiful British Columbia, Vancouver, British Columbia. It is Monday, the 4th of June, and I am with Mark Fekete. Mark Fekete, who is the president and CEO of Stakeholder Resources. Stakeholder, which trades on the TSX under the symbol SRC. Mark, great to see you.
You today.
Great opportunity to be here for. Now, right off the bat, how's the show been so far for you?
Oh, it's pretty good considering how the market is these days. There's been pretty good attendance. Today is Monday, and we've seen quite a few brokers come through, which is, no business done, but it's certainly encouraging to see people passing through the booths.
Right. Now, you had a great opportunity yesterday to do your presentation, and I understand that RBL will probably have that up on your website soon, providing, of course, it came out as great as we hope it did. It was well attended. I was quite pleasantly surprised. We had probably 50 people in attendance at the presentation. So, and there's been quite a few people from the presentation came by the booth to ask further questions and find out what the company's all about. Right. Well, I understand you are funded well enough this year to do your work on Ballarat, which is the property that was supposed to be drilled last year, but this year we're definitely moving ahead with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really rough for the juniors this year. In fact, there's a lot of people that have just basically hunkered right down. They're not doing any work. We have a small program in Yukon this year. We have $460,000 of a flow-through available to us. The flow-through, of course, has to be spent in this year. So what we're doing is we're going to do a small drill program on our flagship property, which is Ballarat. The main thing about Ballarat is it's exactly halfway between Kinross's White Gold project and Kamanak's coffee project. So very good location. We've been working there for a number of years now. We've got two very good targets, two parallel zones. The southern zone has up to 800 ppb in soils, and the northern zone is a bit weaker, but it has a nice linear character to it. So we've got enough money in the kitty to do a decent drill program and test these two zones at Ballarat.
Well, I know from looking at the maps that there's some pretty significant soil anomalies in that area. Can we talk a little bit about what you hope to find out? This is an area that has never been drilled before. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. It's on the south side of Thistle Mountain. The Thistle District is sort of a sub-district of the Klondike. Historical production out of the various placer creeks are approaching 200,000 ounces, and our basic assumption is that there's a source for that placer, and with the geochem work that we've done there and the prospecting and a little bit of trenching, it looks like we may be onto something. And this is the first time we've drilled it, first time it's ever been drilled, and with luck, maybe we'll tie into a structure that will lead to more drilling on the property.
Well, now this is really great news for shareholders. But one of the other things that's kind of interesting about Stakeholder is that you came into existence last year, June 21st of last year. You're listed on the TSX, and you've really sort of come out of the gate fast. You guys have done a lot of staking, I understand, since last year as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, our timing wasn't the best. We got our listing June 21st last year, and as you know, the stock market pretty well tanked at the end of July. So we were in the process of doing a financing that at the time with our listing, and that fell through. We did manage to raise in the year a total of $1.4 million. That went into primarily claim acquisition. We've got 8 properties in what we call the Dawson area in the Dawson Range in western Yukon. We've also got a property in eastern Yukon, and we were able to with that $1.4 million, we did a pretty good program there last year on all our properties. They're all good for 3 to 4 years in terms of assessment work requirements. We're pretty focused on Ballarat. As I mentioned, we'll be drilling that. Our other property in the area is called Selwyn. It's a very large property, about 400 claims. Very well, it turns out we staked it in August, and then subsequently a group called Ethos Capital came out with some very good results on their adjacent property. So unfortunately, we don't have enough money to do too much work there, but we will have a crew out there doing geochem work, geochemical surveying this year. That's kind of the approach that has proven very effective by other workers in the area. So we'll be doing our first pass soil sampling geochem work, and that will provide us with some targets for 2013.
Well, and that's kind of the way it's done, isn't it? You've got to find the resource, doing your soil sampling and doing your trenching, and then once you've located what you consider to be a strong source or a strong area of anomalies, that's kind of when you make your determination as to where you're going to drill.
Unfortunately, a lot of investors, they're a bit impatient. They want us to drill right away, but we're methodically going through these properties one at a time, and the first step is your soil geochem. You've got to get out there and do your first pass, and then that'll give you some targets where you can do some detailed work, and then if that looks good, then you do some trenching and some prospecting and that kind of thing, and then only then do you get to the drill stage. So at Ballarat, for example, our first work program was in 2009, and then a subsequent program in 2010. With everything that was going on in the markets last year, we decided not to drill the property, but here we are 4 years after acquiring the property, we're finally getting to the drill stage. We are looking to raise more money. We're pretty excited about the Selwyn property because it's very large and it's well located. It's 55 kilometers west of Kaminak. Kaminak, of course, with their Coffee Creek project, is a leader in the area. This new discovery, which is called Mascot by Ethos Capital, looks very exciting. It's probably the best thing that came out of last year, and we're tied right on to that. The block that we have is basically virgin ground. There's been no work that I can tell. There was limited work for copper way back in 1969, 1970. We're also right next door to a property called the Sonora Gulch, which is inactive right now, but it was for a number of years it was the lead project for Northern Tiger in Yukon, and they had a fair deal of success with their drilling in the area. Nothing spectacular, and they've since moved over to their 3A's property in Eastern Yukon. Right. But that's the process. I mean, you're not gonna find mines by playing with your computer in the office. You got to get out there. Boots on the ground sort of thing, and we're very good at that. We've got a team of about 12 people this year in Yukon, 4 geologists and support staff, and they're all well trained, well equipped, and just a really good, eager bunch of youngsters, so it's a great property, and we'd like to raise another $300,000 to $400,000 on that, so we could do a complete program and get ourselves to the drill ready stage for 2013 at Selwyn River.
Well, that sounds amazing. Well, as always, I like to give my guests the last word, if you will, the elevator pitch. If you want to do that quick elevator pitch to shareholders. The company is trading right now at around 6 cents, I understand, and those types of things. But as always, I like to give you the last word, Mark, so maybe you want to give a little shout-out to your shareholders.
Well, not too many people know who we are. We're brand new. This under the brand Stakeholder. As I mentioned earlier in the interview, we only got our listing in June of last year, and then with all the turbulence in the market, we really haven't marketed this company. This is the very first investment show that we've done. A lot of people are surprised that we have the quality of properties that we do, like very well located with respect to the key players in the area. So that message is getting out, and with the drilling that we're doing, I think our name will become more familiar in Yukon, and as more people hear about the company, obviously there should be a response in the market, and I really believe that we're under our value relative to our peers is quite low, mainly because we're not well known. We haven't had that exposure to the market, and it's really tough being in a junior resource sector, and I gotta say the only way we can go is up. Because there's really not too much further we can go down. So it's we're out there and we're working hard for our shareholders, and with a bit of luck, I think we can build some value for everybody involved.
Well, I want to thank you for that, and I want to thank Mark Fekete for being our guest here on InvestorToday.ca. The company, again, Stakeholder Corp, which trades on the TSX under the symbol SRC. I'm Dave Glover with InvestorToday.ca. We'll see you next time.